Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, and welcome to our virtual conference. My name is Mariana, and I'm honored to be your host for today for Asia's first virtual conference, Leaders and Coaches of Asia 2024. This is a 3.5 day conference for leaders, CXOs, and coaches. We have an exciting lineup of speakers designed to inspire, inform, and connect us all. Let's dive in and make the most of this incredible opportunity to learn and collaborate. For today's keynote session, we will be starting our conference. Before that, I will be playing a short video. Just give me a moment while I share the video. I hope you are able to hear. Hope you all enjoyed that video. As I welcome you all for this incredible journey, I would like to request each of you to participate by asking questions in the questions tab, and they will be addressed towards the end of the session. Now, let's welcome our first keynote speaker for today, Joel D. Girolamo, who is the Vice President of Research and Data Science for the International Coaching Federation. He's the author of 2 books and numerous research papers and book chapters, Joel holds a master's degree in industrial and organizational psychology, an MBA, a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering, and is an associate editor for Consulting Psychology Journal. He's going to talk about the topic, the impact of coaching on organization success. Research has confirmed the value of coaching. So join us as we explore coaching benefits and actions you can take to ensure organization success. Welcome, Joel. The stage is all yours.
Thank you, Mariana, and appreciate the invitation to speak here and kick off this conference for all you folks. So, has everybody seen the first slide?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. All right, so what I'd like to talk about tonight is, or this morning, wherever you are, that I'd like to talk about some coaching results of some research, and then what's the potential and how does that impact organizations? And then just a little bit at the end to talk about actions that you yourself can take to really implement some of the results of this research. So let's dive in. So there's a lot of questions about return on investment of coaching. And what people ask, well, why should we coach people in our organization? What's going to be the benefit? And it's really interesting because so many organizations see the benefits differently. And some organizations want to look at the benefits of coaching numerically. They want to see, okay, how much extra or more profit did this person achieve in the business? How much more did they contribute? Other individuals and organizations feel that it's more about the soft part of their job. How well did they become a better leader, for example? Were they able to communicate better? Were they able to have a higher performing team? And so this is the reason that, for example, that we have not personally as an organization at ICF not delved into this issue about and ways to measure ROI, because the ways that people find it valuable can be so disparate and diverse. So if you look at some of the literature that's out there, though, you'll see that some of these things on the screen, such as improved self-awareness and confidence that individuals have, those can be a benefit of coaching. And one thing I often tell people, our definition of coaching talks about people finding their full potential and seeking higher value, seeking higher purpose maybe. But you could also think of coaching as a one-to-one learning modality. And so you can think of that a way that coaching can be an adjunct or a complement to, say, training or mentorship. And so that with coaching, the client sets their own goals, and then so they get to go work on those things frequently by themselves, and the coach facilitates that learning. Some other benefits might be engagement and commitment, that the employee might be more committed to the organization. Job satisfaction could be higher, and definitely enhanced communication and teamwork. And we see this a lot, that a lot of the reasons that coaches, clients take on coaching is to enhance their effectiveness as a leader, their effectiveness as a team. And the coach can work with not just the leader alone, but also the team, and help to build the team into a more effective one. Now, we've done quite a bit of work ourselves, quite a bit of research with managers and leaders and how they use coaching skills. We published a paper that's been well cited. It was in 2019 in Consulting Psychology Journal. And in that paper, we did a mixed methods study. So it was qualitative research and quantitative research. It was both. And what we found was that when the when the manager or leader used coaching skills more frequently, that there was more employee engagement, that there was a better working alliance with that manager or leader, and their intention to quit was lower. So turnover was likely to be reduced. This was interesting because we ended up with an assessment scale out of that study. We had not intended to create an assessment scale, but it's one of these serendipitous efforts where you find out that, oh, there's this scale that comes out. And so there's a 9-item scale that anyone can use that's in that paper to have an idea of how often the manager leader might be asking questions that would be leading to new insights, for example. And one interesting thing about that scale is that we did not say, we did not ask how often the manager leader coached you as a team member, but how often did they ask, for example, ask questions that provided insight or new awareness? And so the individuals don't necessarily know what's being assessed, which can be a good thing. Now, we took that work and we extended it, and we asked ourselves, what can organizations do beyond that? And so we created we did a lot of additional research in terms of what else is out there in terms of coaching cultures and what does that mean. And we had also done some work ourselves with the Human Capital Institute, HCI. And so we went out and did some more work, and we came up with an assessment that actually has, well, it has 3 parts. And 2 of the parts are given to employees in the organization. And what we came out with were what I'm calling mirrored items. So the assessment has items about organization promotion. What does the organization promote? So that's one side. And then what are the coworkers, what behaviors do they exhibit? So let's say, for example, that there's an item on the assessment that asks about how often employees ask questions in meetings. So the item on the promotion side might be, my organization promotes asking questions in meetings. And it would be, for example, how often they do this. And then on the employee behavior side would be an item like, my coworkers ask questions in meetings, and the response scale could be how frequently they do this. And so, so those are the mirrored items: promotion and behavior. And so an organization using this instrument, this assessment, can find out where they are in terms of, how much there is, and they can measure longitudinally, or over time, that is, if they're getting better. Are they seeing that the organization is promoting these things more? Are the coworkers exhibiting these behaviors more? And then the third element is sort of policy pieces. And these are things like what policies are in place in the organization, such as that anybody in the organization can ask for and receive coaching. Something like there's a line item in their budget for coaching. And so it's a measure of value of coaching. So the elements in the promotion and the behavioral elements are about relationships. So how much are relationships promoted and supported? And we know from a lot of research that coaching outcomes, the positive coaching outcomes, are very related to the relationship. So we felt that that was very important. And so we have good statistical or psychometric evidence of this assessment to show that these items fit together. We also have some items on a safe environment. So how safe do the employees, or the individuals, how safe are they made to feel, to maybe take a risk, to ask these questions, to maybe challenge. So those are in there. There are elements of communication. How often do they promote communicating, well between upper and level management, and with coworkers, and how often are they encouraged to collaborate? We know that collaboration is a big um, part of good, effective teams and high performing teams, and so we wanted to measure that. So we used the same measures to validate this assessment as we did with the manager and leader one above. So the enhanced employee engagement, we saw a high correlation with the coaching culture and more employee engagement. Again, a higher working alliance. So how well did the team members, how well did they work together? And this uses three elements: goals, how well do they relate on goals, how well do they bond together, and how well do they work, or how aligned are they on tasks. And then again, the third one is reduced intention to quit. And this was a small 3-item measure on intention to stay, for example, intention to stay in an organization. So those were the same 3 measures that we used in the study above, the manager and leader one, because those worked very well for us. Now, I'm going to give you a preview of some brand new research that we spent about a year working on. And this was a qualitative study that we did, and we looked at specialty coaching. So we looked at health and wellness coaching, we looked at agile coaching, for example, and several others. And we asked coaches how they do this. How do they bring in their domain knowledge and pair that with the coaching skills? And what we found is this is really an enhanced level of the use of coaching skills, and that the coaches need to what they did first is they led with the coaching skills. They got to know the clients. They wanted to understand, what are their motivations? What are their values? What are their beliefs? What are they after? And so only then would they bring in the domain knowledge. So it's really fascinating because, for example, one person who was a health and wellness coach, and we did 40 some interviews for the study, and I listened to all these. And one of the health and wellness coaches said that a client came in and wanted to work on nutrition and dieting, and wanted to lose weight. And the client was getting a little upset with the coach and said, it was the third session, and the client said, wait a minute, I don't understand what you're doing here. I'm here to lose weight. We're in our third session, and you have yet to ask me about what I eat. And the coach said, that's right. I want to get to know you first. I want to understand what motivates you. And so then we can start working on those things, and those things will be more effective. So this is the use of the coaching skills within this given specialty or knowledge domain. And the coaching skills can just really greatly enhance the work in these areas. And so there is this balance of this application of the knowledge domain. And if you think about it, if you think about what has transpired a lot in coaching sessions, and coaches will ask a client may say, hey, I want to communicate with my team better. And the coach might ask, well, how might that work? What might that look like? And walk the client through that, and might also encourage the client to go out and find some external resources. So there's no reason that the coach themselves, if they have some knowledge, that they can't input that knowledge into the session. And that is in our competency model, the ICF core competency model. There is subcompetency 711. And it talks about that the coach can offer insights and wisdom, and it's without attachment. And we talk about that in there. And so it's not telling the client what to do, but it's offering something. And so this all fits in with what we have today. And we've seen that the coaches can be very effective with this. So this is brand new research. We're working on the publication right now. And we expect that to be a pretty exciting article. So here's some of the research that we've done and we've looked into. And so then the question is, how can that impact an organization? Well, we definitely know that the organization can reduce employee turnover. We've seen that with the research that we did with the managers and leaders and the coaching culture work. We also know that the use of these coaching skills can enhance teamwork in the organization. And, you know, it's really heartwarming for me because if you look at the work of Fred Luthans back in the, I think it was the 1980s and 1990s on team performance, and he did a lot of work on, he talked about effective managers versus successful managers. And sadly, that work didn't get a lot of prominence. But I noticed that there's a revised book of Fred's out there now that Hogan Assessments has published. And also, you know, there's the work of Bob Hogan himself, Rob Kaiser, Bart Craig, and several folks who have talked about and really emphasized the need for leaders to build high-performing teams. And that's what leadership is about. And that's where coaching can really come in and really have a good high impact on an organization. And so if the leaders are being more effective, if they're working with their individual team members better, the team is going to collaborate more. And overall, you're going to have a higher performing organization. And that's what it's all about. That's what the coaching is for. So this can really be helpful. All right. So what can you do? You, today, tomorrow, you can use coaching skills in all your conversations. And, you know, I've worked for ICF for 10 years and done a lot of research with ICF. I did some research on my own before I came to ICF. And it's really fascinating because the research that we've done, that I've done, has shown that coaches, once they learn these coaching skills, they end up using them in all conversations. And so it's not just situational, that they're just like, oh, you know, I'm going to do a coaching conversation now. No, that's not what happens. The individual, once they learn those coaching skills, uses them all the time. And this was really pointed out to us when we did the managers and leaders using coaching skills research, because we went in there thinking that the coaches would say, okay, let's have a coaching conversation. And that's what it would be about. But that's not what we found. We found that the coaches or the managers and leaders used those skills and did coaching in all conversations, whether it was a team meeting, whether it was with their superiors, subordinates, anybody. And so you today can use those coaching skills to enhance your conversations. Secondly, you can train your leaders to use coaching skills. These can be formal, these can be one-to-one, just conversations. In any of these conversations, you can ask, you know, are you telling the team members what to do? Or are you asking them questions? Because we know from learning theory that individuals who dig out material on their own, who question on their own, that they learn better. That's how we learn. We learn by doing, we learn by repetition. So if they're doing, they're going out there and digging it out themselves, they can learn better and more effectively. So if you can do that, you can ask them questions and let them start digging things out. That'd be great. You can do this, as I say, you can do it with the managers and leaders in your area. You can do it with everybody, all employees. Promote those coaching skills. And then you can do some team development work on how your team itself can use coaching skills in the meetings, in brainstorming sessions, in problem-solving sessions. And so, you know, I can't emphasize this too much. In every conversation, we can have coaching skills. So I will stop sharing, and I am happy to take some questions now.
We would now like to open the floor for audience questions.
So there's a hand raised.
Okay.
Hey guys, yeah, hi Joel. So I would like to ask what to do if the person or employee is not so like motivated to be coached, and not has initiative to learn from you as from manager. So what to do with this kind of people? Just your recommendation on this. Thank you.
So excellent question. And, you know, you see this a lot. And what I always get to is what's the goal? That's why vision and mission, for example, are so important. Because that vision, you can have an organizational vision, you can have a team vision, and you can always point to those goals. And that's why your team goals are important. And you can have those goals. They can be highlighted every now and then if they're not in every meeting. And then when the individual's like, well, okay, yeah, I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job. I don't need any of that. And you can talk about, well, okay, let's talk about your individual work and how your work contributes to the team goal, to the organizational goal. And then again, you could start asking questions. How effective do you feel you've been? How much do you feel you've contributed to the team goals, to the organizational goals? And so you can look at it from that angle. And sometimes you're not going to get to people. You can get, if you look at some of the motivational research, there's basically 3 types of motivation, the way people are motivated. There's intrinsic motivation. So, you know, I'm motivated because I want to do a good job. I want to learn. I want to do cool stuff. That's intrinsic. It's inside you. Extrinsic motivation is that you're externally rewarded. And so somebody may be rewarded by a promotion, by money. And so, for example, like salespeople are motivated that way a lot. The third is amotivated people. They're not motivated at all. So for this person, if you can find out how they're motivated, are they motivated intrinsically? Do they like the challenge? I personally find intrinsically motivated people easier to work with, easier to manage, easier to motivate, because you give them a challenge and you talk about the goals and, hey, we're doing cool stuff. And so you find out, are they motivated intrinsically by that? Or do they want something external? Do they need an external reward? If they're amotivated, they're not motivated at all, maybe the organization is not the best place for them. So, you know, that to me is kind of what it comes down to. So I don't know if I answered your question or not. You have your hand raised again.
Yeah,
so.
Thanks for your answer. So in my career, I faced some like managers and people who are reporting to these managers, and some people super empathic, and they are feeling that you try to teach them but they don't feel, they don't understand the goal of this. And so as far as I understood from your standpoint, you recommend to communicate with people, to find their motivation, and try to expand this motivation, plus on your coaching goals, right? So you coach them organically, not as a teacher in a school, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, thank you so much, Joel. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, one question I ask people, and especially when they first
Mhm.
start working for me, I ask them, what are you passionate about? And even if somebody says that they're passionate about something that is not work related, I ask, or I ask myself, how can I tap into that? How can I tap into that passion and get them motivated? So I think it's, to me, that's one of the joys of being a manager or a leader is kind of, I think of it as a hook. You know, you hook them, and that's what coaches have to do, right? They have to motivate the client to go do the work, because the client has to do the work. Coach doesn't do the work.
That's great. Thank you for your answer. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
I don't know if we have time for one more or not,
Oh,
Mariana or Hamani.
I don't think we have more time, but yeah.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Joel, for the great session today. It was such a pleasure listening to you speak on the topic, the impact of coaching on organization success. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you, Joel.
Our next session topic is coaching culture in organizations. I would request you all to stay on the same webinar for the next session. Thank you.